All right, so the main page of Doge is essentially just their Twitter feed, or X feed, I should say. As we move along here, let's take a look at some of these. Here's one. Agencies often have more software licenses than employees, and the licenses are often idle, i.e., paid for but not installed on any computer. For example, at GSA, with 13,000 employees, there are 37,000 WinZip licenses, 19,000 training software subscriptions. Read more. I'm familiar with this working in the tech industry my entire life. I've seen this play out in P&Ls, and I've had discussions about the same thing in private businesses where over time you'll acquire a lot of different licenses for different software subscriptions, and sometimes, some or a department or a person gets the license, they end up being there for a year, 2 years, whatever it may be, they leave, that license continues to be set for that particular person, and then it goes on and on and on. And in the IT departments, if they don't have a good cleanup procedure, they just keep acquiring licenses and the companies just keep paying for them. I can see this easily playing out here. Again, this is just, if you're just joining, we're just taking a look at the new Doge.gov website, which the front page here is just essentially the Twitter feed of Doge and everything that they're putting out. But I criticized Doge and Elon and Trump for not having transparency. But now that they updated the site, there's a lot of transparency that's here. I'm going to be taking a look at this savings page in just a minute, which I made a video about early this morning. But the savings page, just to show y'all, I don't know if you can really see this. I'm on YouTube Live and TikTok Live, X Live, a bunch of platforms. If you go on YouTube, it's a little bit easier to see in the horizontal view. But this is the savings tab of this Doge.com or Doge.gov website, where they literally via calculation just spill out $65 billion in estimated savings thus far. And then he has it labeled Wall of Receipts, right? A transparent account of Doge's findings and actions. And you can see some of the ones that are posted here, and the website gives a lot of really good information. I mean, the earlier one that I touched on and did a video about was this one right here, which was $9,999,999, essentially $10 million bucks, right? If you click into it, you can see that this was a contract awarded to a company called Neuro Leadership Institute, Inc., $10 million for OMWI training support, psychological safety. And you can see, I think they must have added this when, the Doge team did their thing, but termination. Now, you can even click on this view on FPDS, which is the Federal Procurement Department site or service. And what that does brings you to the site where you can see the actual contract, you can see the date it was signed, you can see the period of performance, the start date, the last date, blah, blah, blah. You can see who the contract was awarded to. So this one was Neuro Leadership Institute, Inc. I like to go through some of these and search Google for what this company actually is, and take a brief look at them, since they're getting a $10 million contract for what was it for exactly again? This one is psychological safety. Look what the team is, the neuroscience of psychological safety. I like to look at this real quick. This is the press room where they have their most recent articles that they publish or that are involving them. You can see some of here, these things here, right? The election is decimating the mental health, or decimating, the election is decimating the mental health of millions of workers this week. Here's how bosses can show up for their blah, blah, blah. How to navigate your divided office after the election. 5 ways for employers to manage post-election emotions in the workplace. Navigating the evolving DEI landscape, a science-based approach. All right, so, just from a few clicks, we can see that Doge terminated a contract for $10 million for psychological safety training and support for OMWI. And I said, okay, well, I don't even know what OMWI is, right? And I looked that up a little bit earlier. OMWI. Oh, okay. It's the Office of Minority and Women Inclusion, right? So, again, $10 million contract to support this particular office, Office of Minority and Women Inclusion. And the $10 million contract is apparently, from what I can tell, for training and support of this office for psychological safety. And I don't know what you guys think, but some of this is like, are you kidding me? If I worked in a private company that, even had 10,000 employees, I don't know how many people are within the OMWI. I should check. Let's ask chat here. How many people work within the OMWI? OMWI. Search in the web. The Office of Minority and Women Inclusion is a mandated office within the various U.S. federal agencies. Section blah, blah, blah. Oh, that's interesting. So each agency within the government, each agency has its own OMWI that is responsible for all matters relating to diversity in management, employment, and business activities within that specific agency. Well, you can see why this got cut now, because there is, no more DEI within the government. Consequently, the size and structure of each OMWI vary depending on the agency's overall size and mission. For instance, the Securities and Exchange Commission, the SEC, reported its fiscal year 2021 annual report that the office consisted of 11 permanent staff members, including deputy director, blah, blah, blah. So here we have an example of the SEC, which is, one piece of the government, having OMWI personnel, and they have 11 permanent staff members. So if that's for the SEC is a pretty large organization. If that's for the SEC. How many people would you, let's just ask ChatGPT. How many people would you estimate work in all OMWI positions in government? Estimating, rough estimates. 29 federal agencies. On average, the staff is 11. Let's see here. Let's give me a number. Give me a number, chat. A reasonable estimate would be between 300 to 600 total employees working on OMWI-related positions. So the government just issued a $10 million contract. $10 million contract, right? For OMWI training and support for psychological safety. $10 million for 300 to 600 total employees. You think that's kind of just giving away money to organizations that you like? Hey, this is just crazy. I mean, divide that number out. What is that? $3,000 per person? I mean, just... All right, let's look at another one here. We'll close these down. Let's see more. Let's see some of the big ones here. There's a lot of just $100,000, couple $100,000 ones that we see on the site. Again, if you're just tuning in, I was surprised to see the Doge.gov website up and running and functional and giving all the receipts, the wall of receipts of savings that have been done here. What is this one? Okay. I haven't seen this one. $5 million. Let's see what this is. Evaluation and Research Services, BPA. What is that? So business type, corporate entity, tax exempt, relationship with the federal government, all awards, organizational factors, other not-for-profit organization, support management. Okay. Description, determination for the convenience of the government. Okay. What did this actually do? Data collection. Some of these are a bit hard here to figure out, even within the government's own site for procurement, what this contract was actually for. All right. Well, I'm not really seeing anything that I can dig into. So let's try to find a different one. Okay. Let's go for the bigger ones here. How about this one? No, it's going to be the same thing. Here, let's just pick a smaller one. Mobile Intelligence Data Platform. What is that? Termination for convenience, complete or partial. Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. Contract was awarded to SoftThink Solutions. Let's see. Corporate entity, non-tax exempt, minority owned, subcontinent Asian, American owned, woman owned, all awards, for-profit organization, SBA certified hub zone firm, self-certified small disadvantaged business. Okay. Again, IT and telecom platform products, mobile intelligence data platform, termination for convenience. I mean, what is this? I wish I could go further into these to see what exactly, like, the RFP for this looked like, or what the RFI from the government was for this. I wonder if there is a way to do that. Validate, correct, modify. Unique entity, remove exception. You can't really do anything here. Let's look at SoftThink Solutions, Inc. They don't have a website? Who is the CEO of SoftThink Solutions? Anuradha Brahmadeva. 71 connections. She's in Herndon, Virginia. President and CEO, 21 years. She's been the president of SoftThink Solutions. No activity lately. Let's look at SoftThink Solutions here. There is no information on this. President and CEO, SoftThink. Come on. It just goes right back to her account. All right, this is another one of those things that I've seen this working in the tech industry before, where the government requires or had required you to get a certain percentage of services or contracts filled by minority-owned businesses, And that looks, I mean, exactly like what this is, where people, set up these soft think solution. People set up businesses like this, and then they procure product from other businesses, put a markup on it, whatever that markup may be. Maybe it's 5%, maybe it's 20%, whatever it is, right? And then they submit their RFP to the government. And so that's all they are pass-through businesses, right? They don't make anything. They don't provide any real service. The company that they procure from are the ones that's actually providing the service or the product, but they're middlemen. And you see this. I've seen this all over the place, and it looks to be like that's what this is. I mean, president and CEO at SoftThink Solutions. SoftThink Solutions doesn't have a website that I can see. There 71 connections here, which usually, a CEO has many more than 71 connections. There is no page for SoftThink Solutions. It just goes right back to her. So you can't even tell if there's any employees for this business. This might be a 1 or 2 person business, and it might be, her and her sister, or her and a friend, or whatever it may be. But I can't find anything. And again, the contract that we see here is just for mobile intelligence data platform. It doesn't give any specifics as to what that actually is. And, the amount, what was the amount? The amount on this one, $321,000. Savings out of it, $64,200. That probably means that, this was a 5-year contract, and it had lasted 4 years already, and they're terminating it in the 4th year. And so the government's now saving $64,200, meaning it probably didn't provide anything to the people. This isn't all, everything that Doge and Musk and all these guys are doing, this isn't all just cutting USAID. This isn't all just cutting federal workers everywhere. This is cutting contracts that are not necessary. This is saving real people real money, or I should say our government real money, cutting just unnecessary things like this, right? And get to the root of some of the issues of why is the government requiring that these contracts be fulfilled by minority companies, when then the economy just reacts to that and goes, okay, I'll set up essentially like shell minority companies everywhere to pass products through and just take a markup on a percentage on them. It's ridiculous. I mean, I wouldn't say this is all out corruption. I would just say that the government's getting screwed in these scenarios. They're requiring the minority aspect. So there's people that set up 1-person companies, and they're a minority because, they're black, they're Indian, they're woman, they're whatever they are. And then they buy from a company that is not minority owned and sell to the government. And that's all they do is mark up the price on the product or service. This is just ridiculous. I'm so glad people are looking into this kind of thing. I hope they abolish that whole requirement of, minority owned, having to purchase from minority owned companies. It would just wipe out a ton of middlemen that aren't needed, a ton of cost that isn't necessary within the government and within business itself. Let's take a look at another one here. Okay, a $1.139 million contract, consumer survey pilot. Okay, so this is ICF Incorporated LLC. Total contract, $1.1 million. Let's look at it. Terminated for convenience. Date signed 2/20/2025. This was signed 5 days ago. Period of performance start date. So this started June 19th of 2023. So roughly 2 years ago. Estimated completion date 2/11 of 2025. I wonder why we only saved that much in this. Contract total 657. Okay. About the company, all awards, for-profit organization, limited liability corporation. Consumer survey pilot. Termination for convenience full. Education, training, employment, and social services. Administrative management and general management consulting services. Education services, R&D, and basic research. 1.1 million. Here we go. Okay, what is ICF Incorporated LLC? Let's take a look at that. IFC is a global consulting services company with over 7,000 specialized experts with services in strategic planning and consultation advisory, program implementation, analytics, digital technology, and engagement. Oh. This is just ridiculous to see the amount of consultancy spending that's done, within the government and just within business is just absolutely ridiculous. Consultants are, for the most part, so unnecessary. An immersive careers investors for margin expansion, blah, blah, blah. They're listed on the NASDAQ. 5.6 CAGR over 5 years. ESG. Oh man, ESG. ICF to support Hurricane Helene recovery across here. So they put a press release out for themselves. Advanced technology and local expertise to expedite FEMA funding. So this has been contracted by the town of North Carolina and several other towns, counties, and utilities in North and South Carolina to provide comprehensive disaster assessments and recovery support in the aftermath of Hurricane Helene. To expedite recovery for several clients, ICF has deployed disaster assessment teams in the impacted communities and utilized drones to conduct rapid, high-resolution area damage assessments. This cutting-edge approach has already documented over 110 square miles and 80 miles of critical infrastructure. Okay. So a little bit about what ICF does. At least it's a company that has a website, and we can see what they do here. It's kind of ironic how their top bar is investors, their stock, financials, governance, and ESG. If you don't know what ESG is environmental, social, and what is it? ESG, environmental, social, and something else I keep forgetting. Maybe it's just governance. What does ESG stand for? I used to work and do ESG. Yeah, environmental, social, and governance. I worked on projects for ESG for a tech company, and apparently that was going to be the next big thing. ESG, the government was going to mandate it, so these companies are going to start having to give reports on ESG in general, and then they would get a score, an ESG score, and they would it would be open to the public, and that ESG score would be important because that's what the public would see in terms of what they're doing for the environment, what they're doing for social, which essentially meant like DEI, and then governance as well. And it was going to be like a rating system of how good you were and what your score was for DE or for ESG within even the private sector, which is so ridiculous. I worked for a guy that thought this was the next big thing and that companies should be jumping on services of increasing ESG scores and how to do that, but just junk. This is just garbage. Garbage, waste. So again, if you're just tuning in, and I'm not sure how many people are right now, what we're doing here is just taking a look at the Doge.gov page and looking at all the savings in their wall of receipts, and just looking at a lot of the contracts that they've cut, right? Because you hear on the news all the time about all these, either depending on which side you listen to, good or bad things that are occurring within Doge, what they're cutting, people losing their jobs, people losing funding, scholarships, grants, whatever it may be. But go beyond the mainstream media a little bit. Go beyond even X. Go beyond even what you see on TikTok and YouTube and all these places, and do a little bit of digging yourself if you have the time. And I know this is very time consuming, but if you have the time, take a look at what is actually being cut here. This is incredibly interesting stuff, and you'll see that there's just so much junk out there that the government does that it's just so freaking wasteful. And it's going to take a large effort to go through every single one of these. And, essentially they're deciding, or maybe not even deciding, but they're making a recommendation to cut them or not cut them. And maybe they just get the green light every time because that's how it works. But somebody within the Doge team is looking at these and seeing if they're even necessary. And that's something that every company should do, right? Yearly, when I worked in businesses, we'd look at the P&Ls, we'd look at all the, for example, all of our software subscriptions. We'd see how much we're paying for each one of them. We'd have questions like, is that even necessary? Does anyone even use that anymore? Right? Because in government, in business, just like I'm sure it happens in government, some things are bought and paid for, and they're subscription based or whatever it may be, and no one ends up using them, or a very small amount of people end up using them, and then they just remain being paid for because there's no manager, there's no director there to say, hey, this isn't necessary, cut this off, and there's no governance team essentially looking at all these things. So let's take a look at this one real quick. Well, this is a pretty good one. ManTech Advanced Systems International, Inc. All right, so this contract was almost $11 million. Cybersecurity Support Services BPA order, safeguards and risk management. I mean, that seems like I understand why the government would need that. Let's see if we can figure out a little bit more on this one. Bureau of Fiscal Services, contracting office was ARC Div, I don't know what that is. ManTech Advanced Systems, looks like it's out of Virginia. IT and Telecom Security and Compliance, Cybersecurity Support Services BPA order. Let's look at what ManTech Advanced Systems is. Securing the future before others dream it, ManTech develops it. We scale to handle your mission, your way, agility, precision, efficiency, speed, blah, blah, blah. Expertise, markets, defense, federal, civilian intelligence. Okay. Leadership. Let's take a look at who these guys are. Oh, this looks like a big, legit company. Michael Rupert. Wow, okay. This one looks like a legitimate business. Careers, let's see what they have open here. Press releases. I mean, this one looks like an actual large, legitimate company here. It does make me wonder why this was cut. Why did the Doge team think this was a not necessary contract? I wish I could figure out more about that. What happens when I say help? FPDS. Validate an award. Approve an award. Ooh. Create a delivery. Create a PO. Man, I gotta dig into this system. This is crazy. Again, if you look at this site, what Doge keeps pointing to, it's the Federal Procurement Data System. Which isn't this the same data system that one movie was based on? The guy, what was his name? But he'd go in and he'd find war dogs, wasn't it? You'd find contracts for ammunition or small arms or whatever it would be, that small peanut contracts apparently, and try to fulfill them via different means. I think this was the site that they were using. Interesting. Again, how would you go in here and view the RFP? Can you view the RFP for a FPDS? View RFP for FPDS contract. How do I look up a DoD? Where do I find government RFPs? FindRFP.com. That's probably bullshit. Let's try it anyways. Oh, that's not what I want to do. Find government contracts. Of course. Start for free. Of course, this is all a paid thing. No, I just want to look at what the government provides. Easy search. Let's contracts. Type one more keywords. So is there a contract number? Procurement identifier. There we go. Let's try to find that. Oh, here we go. Mantech. Oh, it's one of the very first ones here. Action obligation. Reference ID, entity zip. Award view. Okay, brings us back to what we were just at. What about this one? And can we see the actual... We see the actual RFP. Can we see the actual RFI that's in here? Referenced IDV. What is that? I don't know where it's taking us. Department full name, contracting agency name, full legal business. Office. Cage code, okay. Wish I knew how to navigate this site a little bit better. This is pretty interesting. How do I... Award. We can view the award. Can we view the RFP? Can we view the RFP? Is there anything we can click on in here? OMB policy, description, principal place performance, show details. You can't click on that. I want to be able to find the RFP or RFIs for all of these contracts. No results found, recovery. No results found, contracts. So if you're just tuning in, what I'm doing here is I'm looking at the Doge website, looking at all the savings that they're saying they have. They have a long list of them. You can click on each one of them. It gives them the savings amount. It gives a total contract amount that in which the contract is canceled. You can go into those through the Federal Procurement Department or data services, I think it is, data system, and you can even search for those particular awards. You can see the awards. But what I'm looking for is if there's some way, and if there's anyone out there watching or anything like that that knows some way how to look at the actual RFI or RFP for the award. Was this it? Oh no. Just gives you that page in PDF format. Let's ask our friend chat to see if can you see the RFI or RFP within the FPDS website for each government contract? No. If you're looking for RFIs or RFPs, you can check these sources instead. SAM, System for Award Management, GoWin, the paid service, agency websites. Oh, okay. Let's check this. SAM, register your entity. What's going on here? FSRS.gov role migration is live. Entity valuation. Okay. I guess I would go to search. Search criteria, all words. I wonder if I can just use this procurement identifier number again. No matches found. Yes. Continue. Oh, is there a different databank? Oh, is there some kind of like RFP or RFI number other than that award number? Unique entity ID. Alright, what's up everybody? If you're just joining, I'm going through the Doge website. I'm looking at all the contracts that they're cutting, the estimated savings for each, and I'm digging into each one of the contracts just to kind of see what exactly it is they are cutting, rather than listening to, you know, mainstream media and all these people that you see all over social cry about things that are being cut that are just purely untrue. That said, I am having a difficult time going in and actually finding. You can find the receipts for the contract that's being cut, but you can't find any information about what really the contract was for. And if anyone knows how to find that, let me know. So if I see a contract that has been awarded on FPDS, walk through how I would find the RFI or RFPs on sam.gov. Request for associated contract number. Solicitation number. Awarding agency. Am I missing something here? Awarding contracting office agency 2036. Let's look for that. I'm gonna go 2036 here. Oh, there we go, Bureau of Fiscal Services. And then ManTech. Can I just look for ManTech? Oh, there it is. All right. F002. let's look at this. So this one, Department of Treasury, Bureau of the Fiscal Services. Award details. It was done in 2023. Contract awarded to Mantech Advanced Systems International. $12 million contract. Award notice 15 days after contract date. This is a time and material T&M BPA order against. The BPA order was awarded on a competitive basis through solicitation to all 6 cybersecurity support services multi-award BPA holders. No attachments or links have been added to this opportunity. Well, that sucks. Is there contract opportunity in that? Doesn't give all that much. Award notices. Oh, what happened to my screen here?